Hello, and welcome back to Mark and Elliot's Movie Reviews. Today we will be reviewing Star Trek 2009. I know one of you has been out there and reminiscing about my review after doing Star Trek Into Darkness of the original J.J. Abrams Star Trek reboot, I guess. And I want to say I watched it again for the first time since I saw it in theaters 4 years ago in 2009. And I would have to say the first time I saw the movie, I totally agree, I was completely angry. Now I'm just mostly irritated, but I'm not as mad as I was. I guess the biggest thing is that the promise that we were going to get to see Spock and Kirk and Scotty and Bones and all them guys meet each other. And of course, that happened in this movie, but it was in an alternate timeline. So it feels like an alternate reality timeline. So it feels like we were robbed of that, because this isn't the meeting of the characters that we know. And as you know from my other review of Star Trek Into Darkness, I am not a fan of this alternate timeline issue. As I said before, taking out the nerd speak, the alternate timeline is an alternate storyline, and without repeating myself, if you're going to start a new storyline, why is anybody else in the future going to go back to the old one? So it changes the series, and it changes the way that we look at things. One of my biggest problems that I've harped on so much since J.J. Abrams' 2009 version was the destruction of Vulcan. I know I go into nerd the final frontier here when I argue about it, but when we have 40 years of story writing, 40 years of a continuity of things, and to change that, the biggest argument that I have is I completely agree, and that is the show Enterprise. I know, I forgot, I understand. I will tell them about that. A lot of people didn't like Enterprise. I did. No, I did. Mostly season 3 and 4, not every episode, don't get me wrong. There were still some losers in that series. Yes, I agree. The one with the aliens and Jonathan Archer's their mother, that just makes no sense to me. But in Enterprise, the whole idea of it was to show, and yes, this is before the timeline change, but it was to show the not only the progression of Earth and exploring in the beginning of Starfleet, but also their relationship, humans' relationship with Vulcans, and also Jonathan Archer, the captain of the Enterprise at the time, was a key figure in the Enlightenment, the re-enlightenment, I guess, of the Vulcans, and how they came back to their ways of logic, of pure logic. And all of that was just flushed right down the toilet by this little red jello that they injected into the planet, and then that was it. One other thing that I have with the problem with the alternate timeline is, of course, Star Trek Voyager, which was my favorite series, which, again, not a lot of other people liked. They made the Star Trek rules for the universe very clear. I understand that, but they wrote it into it, and I realize that you disagree. Elliot doesn't agree with this, but it is that they're in the 29th century, time travel and changing the timeline is no longer legal, and if you do that, guys from the future come back and straighten out the timeline again. Of course, Voyager ignored this. And Enterprise ignored this, and J.J. Abrams ignored this, and I guess I can't blame him for that. But it would be nice if, once people are writing in stories, that you keep it that way. Like I said, it didn't irritate me as bad this time, even though that I am a little bit sold onto the feel of it. I still disagree with the alternate timeline. What I definitely did not like about this movie is the gags. Scotty getting beamed into a toilet. Yeah, it was a big toilet, but it was still a toilet gag. The big hands for Kirk. All of that was ridiculous. It's something that cheapened Star Wars Episode 2. Actually 1, 2, and 3, but mostly 2. If you think J.J. Abrams is going to fix everything in Star Wars, I wouldn't be too sure. That's just my opinion. So Star Wars. I don't like the fact that all the space battles look like it's Star Wars. When they jumped out of the shuttlecraft and was going down the line, it actually looks a lot like Battlestar, and that was pretty neat. But most of it, to me, was the feeling of Star Wars. I'm still upset about the Kobayashi Maru. It's been 4 years. I understand. But it was a character test. To change it in that way, for them to get upset that he changed it, that he cheated on the test, was that is a show of his character. It was a character test. They complimented him on it before, and of course they kicked him out and did all that other stuff, and that's just to me was just absolutely ridiculous. One thing though that my wife did point out is that the original Kobayashi Maru, Kirk agreed. Yes, it is very sad that his dad died and then he had to face death. See, he didn't face death in the first series, but in the reboot he did, because his dad had passed away. It upsets Elliot. He didn't watch that part, but he's still very upset by it. Again, everybody's got to have daddy issues. I'm sorry. I've always said that was my problem with it, because the original didn't, and now we do because it's a different time and a different crew. I understand that you love me. I know. Thank you very much. But the only thing I'm apologizing about is I was wrong. Spock has mommy issues, not daddy issues, because his mom died. The last thing is, of course, is the ending. I thought the ending was kind of dumb. You get stuck. Hey, buddy. You get stuck by a gravitational pull. So how do you get out of it? Because your engines aren't good enough. You blow out. You eject your warp core, blow them up, and that kicks you free. Let me tell you something. My Ford Explorer gets caught in the mud. I take out the engine, put it behind it, and blow it up. It ain't gonna get me out of the mud. It's just the laws of physics. It's just the way it works. And if it did, I wouldn't have an engine. It's just the way it is. That's my opinion. So thank you very much for our review. I give it a 5 still. That's what I give it. And Elliot, I gave him Cheerios prior. 1, 2, 3. He's got 3 Cheerios left. Elliot gives it 3 Cheerios. If you are watching this on Facebook, go down to somewhere down here and hit YouTube. Go to YouTube, give me a like. Also, go down in the description and go to How It Should Have Ended. I'm going to give you a link. Go to How It Should Have Ended and watch how Star Trek 2009 should have ended according to the guys at How It Should Have Ended. Thank you very much, as always, for this. We thank you. Elliot, say goodbye. Goodbye! Yay!